Hi, sustainable investing has been in the news quite a lot, but you might have missed it, or you might think, what the heck is this? Actually, it's something which we really need to pay attention to. This I've taken from UBS, but actually I could have used many other sources, and I wanted to add my own commentary to what they've said. Here's 5 key points as they point them out. Sustainable investing is about considering environmental, social, and corporate governance. ESG. You're going to hear that a lot. It's going to be important you understand when people say ESG investing, what it is they're talking about. Now, of course, there's going to be a whole bunch of funds which are going to be released claiming to invest in ESG companies. And the worry people have is, well, can I still get a return? You know, am I paying a price to be good? Well, let's have a look. Many investors now recognize these factors are important. Of course they do. This should support comparable performance to conventional investments. Yeah, basically there's money going into these, so they almost become self-fulfilling, let alone the fact that, of course, it is important to have investments which consider environmental, social, and corporate governance issues, things such as gender diversity, ethnic diversity, amongst the broader environment. But if they even become self-fulfilling prophecies and more money goes into them and that leads to better performance, great, so be it. Now, point number 2, sustainable investing is becoming mainstream. Absolutely. And you might not have come across it, which is why I wanted to do this short video. Right, if you look at the numbers in terms of how it's grown, let alone Google Trends, worldwide searches have increased significantly. That's just one method of measuring it. Private investors will increasingly look at this as they're the last ones to the party. Initially, it's the institutions who are driving it. And I'll give you another example. Okay, this is, for instance, a Bloomberg terminal, right? On this, you look at the top news. Time and time again, when I look on the top news, I will find stories which relate to ESG. This is what all the hedge funds use. It is what all the biggest fund managers in the world use. Given that that's the case, they're getting it on their eyeballs and they know, right, okay, we're missing a trick if we're not part of this movement. Point number 3, investors have many options for investing sustainably. There's the diversity of choice. That's critical, right? Bonds, equities, alternative investments. If you don't have diversity of choice, what's the point, right? Increasingly, companies, if I were to look at individual companies, they will be reporting on their annual reports their ESG criteria. Now, again, this becomes incredibly important because if they don't measure it, they know they're being left out. But also, there is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If I keep seeing that being measured, then I'm going to start thinking to myself, well, maybe this is important. Maybe I should pay attention to this. And why have I not been looking at this? Okay. So these kind of factors, these kind of figures, time and again, they will come up as something which other people are going to look at. More data can help measure things. Well, we're getting better at measuring this, but it's also in the news time and time again. It's in the news. Sustainability challenges may represent large-scale investment opportunities indeed. You see, this is from UBS, and that's my point. They're telling their biggest clients, you need to look at this because the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals have been embraced by investors. There is money flowing into this area, which means in itself, it leads to greater impact. Like I said, it means that the kind of environmental change we want to see in the world, the social change, the governance changes, they start happening because money chases it. And if money's chasing it, it might mean that the investments go up as well, which means more money chases it, more people focus on it. What I'm saying ultimately is do not neglect this area. If you want to see where the links are and to these things and what the footnotes are, you can look at them. You can look at the screen there for that. So key thing, don't miss it. But how do I find out? How do I find out what Apple is doing in this or what Microsoft is doing and whether or not that's a buy signal? Well, if you're looking at the investment side of things, all I'm saying to you is you don't need to specifically look yourself right now. The companies are doing this. I just want you to be aware of the terminology that's being used. But if you're looking at specific ESG funds, use the same analysis as you would before. But what I'm saying is, whereas before you might have said, oh, it's a specialist fund, let's just ignore it. Don't. This is mainstream. Give it the same criteria of analysis you would for any other fund investment, but don't ignore it just because it's ESG. All right? That's the essential parts of what I'm saying. Thanks very much.